what is consciousness? Like, what do scientists, this is kind of the cutting edge of science. They're trying to determine, like, what is consciousness? What makes something conscious? And there's a lot of debate, and a lot of people think it's something unique to humans, perhaps, or some people think it applies to animals. But there's actually a lot of evidence, and I'd say most of the evidence from what I've seen is pointing to there's consciousness in everything, including particles. And that the way I say it is there's different types of consciousness, right? Human consciousness is different from animal consciousnness. It's different from an amoeba's consciousness. But I'll go one step further, and I've said this before, like there's table consciousness, there's computer consciousness. Every object has its consciousness, and it has different levels of it. And that's why I think they like science will always be kind of taking it, looking at it from the wrong angle, because if you are coming at it from the perspective that your mind is in your brain, and so that your mind is coming from something physical, then you'll always have it backwards, because there was no brain until there was a mind that called it a brain, right? There was an organ there, but nobody gave that concept the value of brain until a mind observed it and said, that's a brain. And so for many, for a long time, people didn't know what was inside their body. And so how do you knew you had a mind, you didn't know you had a brain, until someone started, looking at what happens when people pass away, and they saw, oh, there's something in there. Maybe that's where it is. And if your idea is, all my thoughts are here, I kind of, like I said, when you're thinking a lot, it feels like it's coming from your head. And then you see like someone's head split open on a rock or something, you say, oh, maybe that's where the mind is. But you can put all these things in your mind. Like I use this example as well. Like you put an apple in your mind, but you can't go in your brain and find an apple. Even, if you're conscious and just taking brain scans. So it's not in there. It's somewhere else. And I think that's like I think it's a dimension that we have yet to assign a concept to. And they're actually on the cusp of it right now in science. I don't know if this is like how the consensus comes about on this kind of stuff, but they're creating a new form of matter called data. So that, like, because you can transfer data electronically and between computers and stuff, but where is that taking place? So where is that realm? Like, that's not even a human consciousness, right? But you can transfer data between material objects electronically. So, and it has values that aren't material. So, like, that is, in order to deal with that, they're calling it a different form of matter. So, because you can transfer data with electricity, right? But it's not electricity. It's interesting. I think that's how they're gonna deal with it. They're gonna have to create new ways of thinking about it. And even for science, I think kind of thinking about these things, it gets beyond what you have the tools to apply. So you have to think about it differently. You have to come up with new methods to apply these things. And I think yeah, a lot of the highest level of science becomes more like philosophy at some level, because you have to create some sort of way and some sort of method to deal with and measure these things.